Shalom, Ubaraka, Miss Paka. This is a very, very anticipated video. It is the month of March. So right off the bat, everybody thinks it is Abib. It is not Abib. Newsflash, it is still wintertime. March 3rd, 2022. This is the day that I am recording this video. Now, it is still winter time. It may feel warm where you live, but other places it's still snowing. It's not completely spring until it's official that the entire hemisphere is warm. All right. But how do you know when the real spring starts? People did not just say, oh, it's warm outside, so boom, it's New Year. Let's say, for example, we lived in a land and we had somebody who lived in Beersheba. Beersheba was the farthest south. And now let's say we have somebody who lived all the way in northern Dan, which is the farthest north. The person in Dan is going to get warm after the person in Beersheba because Beersheba is further south. So they're going to get warm days before Dan. Dan is still going to be cold. So you're saying Beersheba in the southern side of Israel is going to be like, oh, yay, it's our new year, but Dan is still going to be in the other year? No. All Israel started at the same time. But how did they determine it? Well, y'all gave us a calendar. You just got to know how to read it. Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And Yah said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give a light upon the earth. And Yah made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. Right there in the first verse, it said, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. So if you want to know when the new year start, you got to look at these signs, baby. Let us look at the signs. Let us determine. First, we're going to see the Sabbath for 2022. What is going to be the Sabbath for the rest of 2022? Let's calculate the Sabbath. A lot of people don't calculate the Sabbath. They just say, oh, it's just a certain day. No, you can calculate the Sabbath using the signs of heaven. This day right here is important. Do you know why? Do you know why March 20th is important? Because March 20th is the vernal equinox, which means the signs of heaven, which is the sun, will tell us that the beginning of spring is here. Because the vernal equinox is the only day of the entire year it's fall too. But the fall equinox and the spring equinox, there are only 2 times a year, only 2 days out of the entire year where the sun will rise directly from the east. People who did not have calendars back in those days, when it started getting warm outside, their obligation was to go outside every single day and look at the sun rise to see if it was going to rise from the directly from the east. They also measured the days because the day and the night is exactly 12 hours in a vernal equinox. They're exactly the same. Okay. And vernal equinox most years is March 20th. Sometimes it's March 19th. Sometimes it's March 21st. Right? But it's in that 3-day range. Most of the time it's March 20th. This year is March 20th. So what do we do with that information? I made a video about this already. How to determine a true Sabbath. But every 7 days after this for the entire year is going to be a Sabbath. So let's count 7 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Saturday is going to be our Sabbath for the rest of the year. Saturdays, guys, that's your Sabbath. A lot of you are doing it on Saturday anyway, so that's good. So if you got to keep the Sabbath on another day because of your job situation, that's perfectly fine. As long as you're working 6 days and resting 1 day out of the 7-day week, Yah is perfectly fine with that because you're still resting on the seventh day. However, if you have the opportunity to keep it on the calculated by the sun, I know this is moon, but it's still a calendar. As long as you're doing it on the right day, calculating it by the sun, this is the actual day right here, the actual Sabbath. I already proved it. Saturday, 2022 for the whole year. If you can do that, that's better. This is a lunar calendar. Okay. Now, mind you, here's a disclaimer real quick. Our ancestors did not have lunar calendars. They did not have any of that. So what did they do? Our ancestors went outside every single night and looked at the moon and looked for the moon. That's how they determined it. When it started getting warm, our ancestors went outside every morning and looked at the sun and look at the specific position the sun is in. Our people were smart like that. They knew what they were doing. They didn't have a calendar. They didn't have a written down calendar like we have, or they didn't have an internet calendar like we had. They literally looked at the sky every day and said, okay, today is so-and-so, tomorrow will be so-and-so. That's what they did. And we got to get smart like that, like we used to be. Because this is stuff that was taken from us. You understand? But see, right now we're in March 2022. Today is the 3rd of March. Okay? And today is sunny. You know, I can't see the moon right now. I do not see the moon. So if I was the ancestor living in biblical times, I would not know that today there's a new moon in the sky. I would not know. However, when I go outside tonight, this evening, I will see this. When I go outside this evening, I will see this in the sky. Right? So tomorrow, I will be celebrating new moon. Because tomorrow is the day of the new moon. Today is a new moon, but we can't see it. Therefore, we wouldn't celebrate it. We wouldn't celebrate it in scripture because we wouldn't see it. You can't celebrate at night. So what we do, celebrate it the next day. This is the day of the new moon right here, the 4th. The 3rd, that's when the new moon start, but we can't see that yet. You understand? So this is the day of the new moon. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. I can't see this right now because the sun is out. So I cannot celebrate new moon because I don't know it's new moon. I have internet, so I know it's new moon through the internet. But let's say I didn't have internet. I would have to look at the moon, right? So I don't see this. I would have to wait till this evening or wait till tonight until I see this. And then I'll say, okay, tomorrow is the new moon. Ezekiel 46 and verse 1. And thus saith Yah, the gate of the inner court that looketh toward the east shall be shut the 6 working days, but on the Sabbath it shall be open, and in the day of the new moon it shall be opened. The day of the new moon, right? So do you see? It says specifically the day of the new moon, because you don't see the new moon until night. If you did not have the WLC app, if you did not have Moon Giant, if you did not have the internet in general or any phone or whatever, or if you didn't have any paper calendar that you buy from the store, how would you know today is the new moon? You wouldn't until you actually see it in the sky. Therefore, tomorrow, guys, April 4th is the new moon, because that's when we will see it. But yeah, it said the day of the new moon, because after that, after the night when you first see the new moon, then you celebrate it, and that's your first day of the month. I learned this from Moray Alicia, the greatest, most iconic, most prophet-like teacher we ever had in this captivity, in my opinion. I learned a lot from this guy. He was before his time. I rock heavy with House of Israel. I rock heavy with them. I learned a lot from them. That's when I came to the truth, I was raised on them. I love more Alicia. I love more Elkanah. I love them people. I learned from them. We might not agree on every single thing, but at the end of the day, that's my foundation. I can't depart from my foundation. So the book of Ezekiel 46:6. And in the day of the new moon, it shall be a young bullock without blemish, and 6 lambs and a ram, and they shall be without blemish. It's talking about the offerings that we're going to have when we get back to the land. But it says we're going to be doing this in the day of the new moon. So we're going to see the new moon at night. Remember, the moon is the light that rules over the night. We only see it at night. So we're going to see the moon at night, and then we see it's a new moon. Okay, so the next day is the first day of the month. The next day is the feast. The next day is all this. You understand? Because our day is day. Our day is a day. Our day is when the light is out. Our day is when the sun is out, right? So new moon day will be the next day. Here we are, March 3rd. Tomorrow is the first day of the 12th month. Tomorrow is not the first day of the first month. It's the first day of the 12th month, the last and final month. And this is April. This is next month. This is the new moon. This is new moon day. April 3rd is new moon day. It's also my birthday. And it's also the first day of the year. And how do I know? How do I know, guys? How do I know that this will be the first day of the year? Well, simply put, guys, this is the first new moon after the vernal equinox. We cannot start the year before the vernal equinox, because if you start the year before the vernal equinox, you have officially started the year in the wintertime. You have started your year in the wintertime. Out of the sun, moon, and stars, who makes the decision when the season changes? The sun does. The sun determines the summer, the sun determines the winter, the sun determines the fall, and the sun determines the spring. And the sun is going to determine spring whenever it's the vernal equinox. So that's when spring starts. You understand? The first day of the year, as well as the first month of the year, starts when you see the new moon after the vernal equinox. Not before, because if you start before, you've started in the wintertime. We didn't start in the wintertime. Abib is a rebirth. First day of Abib. You understand? April 3rd is the first day of Abib, the first day of the first month. When is Passover? According to scripture, Passover is on the 14th day of the first month at even. So, let's count to the 14th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. On Saturday, April 16th, at evening is when Passover will start. However, Passover day is April 17th. All right? April 17th. And Feast of Unleavened Bread is 7 days after that. All these days right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All the way down to the 24th. That's Feast of Unleavened Bread. Okay? So yeah, that's Passover and Feast of Unleavened Bread. So now let's deal with let's deal with Feast of Trumpets. So Feast of Trumpets, according to scripture, is the first day of the 7th month. Boom, April 3rd, first day of the first month. Okay. May 2nd, first day of the second month. June 1st, first day of the 3rd month. Boom. July 1st, first day of the 4th month. Boom. July 30th, first day of the 5th month. August 29th, first day of the 6th month. September 27th, first day of the 7th month. So this right here, September 27th, everybody, is indeed Feast of Trumpets. And count 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, October 6th is Day of Atonement, the 10th day of the 7th month. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. October 11th is the 15th day of the 7th month. So that's the first day of Feast of Tabernacles. Feast of Tabernacles, we sleep in tents for 7 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's a holy convocation on the 8th day. So it's another Sabbath on October 18th. And yeah, that's all the holy days of the year. Okay, so there is the new moon. I just spotted it. It's hard to see, but you can kind of see that crescent. You see what I'm saying? Let's see, my finger can point to it right there, right above my fingernail. That is the new moon. So if I'm an ancient Israelite seeing that, now I notify my family that tomorrow is new moon. So when we wake up in the morning, that's our new moon.